What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and I'm spending Sunday night on Van Nuys Boulevard because that's where cruising originated, right here in Van Nuys in Los Angeles. And guess what? There's a ton of lowriders because lowrider culture is what this is all about. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of cruising on Van Nuys and the lowrider. Let's get into it. So cruising began on Van Nuys Boulevard in the late 40s after the war because it's a really wide street. It was always the Valley's main thoroughfare, but as cars became cheaper, gasoline became cheaper, and customization first came, this was the place to cruise. Lowrider culture was pioneered here in Los Angeles in the 1940s. Pioneers such as Jesse Valadez and his Gypsy Rose are famous even 7, 8 decades later. So it's important to note that car culture originally took off in Whittier and East Los Angeles, again as the extension of the car customization and the lowrider culture. But it initially started mostly as drag racing in the LA River, below the 6th Street Bridge, by the way, which was actually a direct result of the fact that when car enthusiasts would try to cruise, the LAPD would crack down on these drivers and their vehicles. California tried to squash this culture so much that in 1958, they changed the vehicle code to impound any car that had any part that was lower than the lowest point of the wheel rim. But you know what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. In 1959, a mechanic named Ron Aguirre came up with a hydraulic pump that would allow him to change the height of a car with the flick of a switch, and the lowrider was born. The aim of the lowrider is to go low and slow. To customize the car to go against its intended use is a political and cultural statement. Van Nuys started to have a ton of car dealerships, so it further symbolized LA's car culture and our relationship with cruising, seeing people, socializing, and self-expression. In 1979, it was immortalized in a film called Van Nuys Boulevard that immortalized the whole era of cruising on Van Nuys Boulevard. It was around that time that the cruising culture, at least on Van Nuys Boulevard, came to an end. Local homeowners and police departments frowned upon the local madness and mayhem, and it was shut down, at least until recently. So cruising and lowrider culture, they both originated here in Los Angeles, and they still take place on Sunday nights on Van Nuys. All right, LA, it's been a minute.